Hello, hello, world. This is your host, one Quafo Adakwa, aka Spartanzilla, giving you the DFS rundown for a St. Patrick's Day Wednesday here in the NBA. So, appreciate you joining us and checking out what the site has to offer. Um, this is what we do for those new to us, because I know we've done some other things new to us. We do this every Wednesday before lock, our live before lock show. So shout out to all of you that have been rocking with the folks here at ZSN. For those that are unaware, if you're a subscriber to the channel, you found this today. So appreciate that. And for those unaware, we did a March Madness breakdown last night that was posted early this morning. And so take a look at that. It's about an hour long, walks you through the bracket with my guy D Stro, my man Big Bird Sports, Phil coming through. And so we did a really good job, I think, breaking down the brackets for you, giving you some ins and outs, giving you some stats and things you want to look for as you fill out your brackets for March Madness, which kicks off tomorrow with my squad, Michigan State, in the first four, and then in earnest on Friday and Saturday. So happy to have the NCAA tournament back, but we grind NBA today. For those that don't know, www.zellasportsnetwork.com is the site where you can become a member, join all the fun and frivolity. We have a lot of our activity in a app called Discord. In Discord, there's a lot of discussion, and we do things like post sheets that break down every single one of these slates Monday through Friday for DFS purposes. We did it for college basketball. We did it for the NBA. We do it for the NBA, I should say. We did it for NFL, college football, you name it. We kind of just break it down, make it easy for you, make DFS accessible to the everyman. And that's kind of one of our missions here at ZSN. So appreciate that you guys have been rocking with us. We've been doing this probably since September of last year. So getting some traction and getting some views and likes. If you like what you see today, please hammer that like button, subscribe, tell a friend. We offer this, content free, but we do some of the more premium aspects of the site. A mere $9.99 a month. That's like that's like 2 Starbucks. You get that. And that gets you monthly membership and then that gets you into the Discord where we talk about kind of all this fun stuff. So again, for those that are new to the site, welcome. And we'll get started with breaking down today's 10-game big NBA slate. The way we like to do this is we kind of give an overview. We'll go position by position. We'll kind of give you some things to kind of focus on. We'll give you Zilla's Hoops crew. One of our members, Kenny, is a great guy. Kind of came up with that, so we give him a shout out every show we do with that, and then we go into Q&As for those that are building, furtively typing away at your computer, trying to build lineups for this St. Patrick's Day. I'm old, so I'm not out, drinking, doing all that stuff. I'm do the show, watch some basketball. There's some NIT basketball, so watch that. Watch some NBA. That's kind of what I'm doing. All right, big slate as we talked about. Lots of news coming in. I've got a couple screens open. I'm looking at, Twitter here constantly. The James Wiseman news came out a little bit ago, and he was a guy I had in my player pool, kind of a lower price option. So that kind of screwed up some things as well. Starting lineups are coming in fast and furious. Looks like some of the Raptors are back in play. I say all that to say, basically, big slate. Don't be wedded to any kind of one way to build. I know we're getting close to lock here. It's almost 7 o'clock in the East, so don't be wedded to one way to build. And don't get too crazy. You don't have to be, depending on the contest you're in, you don't got to be, you'd like to beat everyone, but to be profitable, you just, especially if you're doing a cash game, you only got to be more profitable than, say, half the field. So don't get too crazy. There's going to be some things that are chalky, right? Like a guy like Kevin Porter today with no John Wall and no Victor Oladipo. That's chalk. But I can live with that chalk because we've seen what he can do. The guy can play. The guy can get it done. And so kudos to, something like that. But you don't have to get too crazy. You can differentiate in a lot of ways. We talk about it a lot. Chalk is not bad in a vacuum. Everyone's like, oh, I don't want to play chalk. I want to be contrarian. I want to be unique. You can be unique by going different in other places. Certain things are chalk for a reason because it's got a high likelihood, high range of outcomes of success. The standard distribution, like higher range. That's why it's chalk. And most of them, it's chalk for a good reason because the projection models are such players are in a certain a role, an increased role, and the consensus is moving that way. And sometimes the consensus is good. So I say all that to say, when we look about the slate, don't get too crazy. Look for some things you can be solid with and hang on to. Control your exposure. It's a big slate. Maybe even play some of the mini things like the turbos or the late slates, and give yourself some flexibility because it is crazy. Some of you might be out there and doing whatever you're doing on St. Patrick's Day, and maybe a little, at the bar doing this kind of, filling in lineups at the end. So hopefully you all do that safely if you're out there doing it. Okay, let's break it down position by position. Starting with point guard, looking at where I'm at today, I've got 3 guys in mind, and we do this for each position, three players of note, and then 1 sleeper. So Russ Westbrook for me, Steph Curry, De'Aaron Fox. Those are the 3 point guards I'm prioritizing. Kind of looking about FanDuel. If you think about DraftKings, James Harden comes to mind, and we talk about him in a second when we get to shooting guard because I'm looking kind of more FanDuel today. But Westbrook, Harden, Curry, and Fox. Those are the guys at point guard. Depending on what site you're playing on. Westbrook has just been really in a groove right now. Really good matchup tonight. Like what he's bringing to the table. Triple-double upside all the time. Very easy matchup. Steph Curry goes without saying what he can do. The chef can cook it up, in a matchup, now without the bigs. They rely on Steph so much for activity with Golden State. So I really like his chance to exceed value there. And De'Aaron Fox going up against Russ Westbrook. Russ can get it done offensively. The defense, it's a little suspect. So give me De'Aaron Fox in that pace-up matchup between the two. The sleeper I like here, maybe not so much a sleeper. I'm going to look real quick to see what I see ownership. Yeah, he's not so much a sleeper anymore. He's a sleeper when I was looking at this earlier, but DeLon Wright from the Pistons, they're really depleted right now. Looks like Dennis Smith Jr. is going to go, but DeLon Wright has really just been getting it done, getting the opportunity in Detroit. They're a team that's not going anywhere, but they still got to play out the games. So Wright is a very good option, lower priced on both sides. So don't mind using DeLon Wright in a lot of my builds. Moving over to shooting guard, James Harden tops the list on FanDuel again. On DK, he's only point guard eligible. He probably should be point guard on both sites, really. He tops the list for me, followed by Bradley Beal and Zach LaVine. Guys that can just score the basketball. All 3 of those guys can score the basketball. And I know it's only one category, but it's a big category. And so those are my 3 kind of choice shooting guard options. When I think about a sleeper here, Devontae Graham with the Hornets is a guy that I'm looking at coming back from injury, role secure. You're talking about 22 to 25 minutes, plays, some with the first unit, some with the second unit. I mean, he just gets it done. So Devontae Graham is a sleeper for me at the shooting guard position. Moving over to small forward, Kawhi Leonard tops the list for me, followed by Norman Powell and then Gordon Hayward. Kawhi, one of the 10 best players in the league, can get it done across the board, offensively, defensively, get you some steals, get you some stocks, what the kids on the street are saying, getting you some stocks. Kawhi is a guy for me. Love to play him when I can. His price has come down, very affordable. Obviously, we talk about Powell. I'm not. He's in my top 3, but I'm not as vigorous as I was maybe at lunchtime because you got so many of the Raptors coming back. So Powell still in my top small forward list. I don't mind if you want to change and maybe put like a Jeremy Grant in there where you can get him at small forward. I would say do that. And then Gordon Hayward, if you got League Pass and you were able to see that game against Sacramento 2 nights ago where Gordon Hayward looked like a man possessed, gets a ball, the ball stolen, he's on the outlet. Poor De'Aaron Fox. What was he trying to do? Don't try to be a hero. Don't try to play defense. Just go around. De'Aaron Fox, you're giving up 4 inches. Gordon Hayward yammed on him like nobody's business. Like, what are you doing, Fox? Don't make a business decision. Don't do that. Gordon Hayward, like him a lot. The Hornets, I like playing a lot of the Hornets players. I mean, they really are a team that's on the rise in the East. And Hayward, for me, gets it done a variety of ways. Filling this role, he looks healthy. So like Hayward a lot. Maybe you actually move him up over Powell, and maybe even let's have Grant, maybe Jeremy Grant, where you get him at small forward, put him there maybe instead of Powell, just because all the Raptors pieces are back. My sleeper there, Dougie McBuckets. It is March. He's an outstanding college player. Like what he's doing in the Pacers, even though LeVert is back and taking up some of the usage, McBuckets can get it done. So Doug McDermott, small forward for me, sleeper guy for sure. Let's see. Let's go over to power forward real quick. For me, it starts with the Greek freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo. He can get you 70, 75 points depending on what site you're playing on at any time. So always like Giannis at the top. Domantas Sabonis, the all-star, is my second kind of power forward. And then Jason Tatum. The Celtics got to figure some things out. You keep hearing about Harrison Barnes coming there, which would help that team. You hear about maybe a Nick Vucevic from Orlando coming there. They need some help. While they don't have help, that's good for us in DFS because that allows Jason Tatum to do what he does, score the basketball and get it done in a variety of different ways. So love me some Jason Tatum tonight. My power forward kind of sleeper under the radar guy, Lauri Markkanen from the Bulls. The Bulls are another spot I'm looking at a lot tonight. They're much improved. Billy Donovan, not my favorite guy. I'm going to tell you the truth. Billy Donovan, but don't mind him right now with what he's doing with the Chicago Bulls. So Lauri Markkanen for me is the power forward sleeper for me. Low-owned, high production, very good spot for him. Moving over to center to close out position by position, Nikola Jokic, with Embiid's injury, you're talking about Jokic maybe being the front runner for MVP right now if he can kind of keep this up and if Denver can kind of help him around. But Jokic, even at the price tag, Jokic is definitely the top of the center list. I like Jared Allen from Cleveland. He obviously getting the run with Drummond on the shelf while they're trying to trade him. He's going to get the run. He's going to get you multiple categories and positions with productivity, scoring, rebounding, stocks. He's going to do that. And my number 3 with a bullet because Bagley is out, Rashawn Holmes from Sacramento. You guys played him on Monday. You did well because Holmes was getting it done and will continue to get it done because there's really not a lot of center minutes behind him. Maybe Nemanja Bjelica, maybe Whiteside, but I've heard they want to trade him too. So give me a lot of Rashawn Holmes as well tonight. Put him in a lock button. You'll see what I mean about him in just a second. And then my sleeper here again, going to that Bulls theme. I like some of the Bulls players, man. We talked about Levine, talked about Markkanen. Let's add another Bulls player. That's Wendell Carter Jr. Very affordable price on both sides. 53 in that ballpark, 5,200. Low ownership. People don't like to play him for whatever reason. He gets it done. And anywhere between 25 and 28 minutes. I mean, Carter Jr. gets it done. So I see that comment in the chat. We got to have a no short-term memory. Wendell Carter Jr. is definitely a guy I'm looking at. So that's my position by position breakdown for this big slate. Again, don't be wedded to the 3 I picked. We only got 15 minutes before lock. If you see some things going a different way, by all means do that. This is just a way to guide you. Again, for those members, you already had the sheet. You already had the crew. So you're well ahead of your research. So people that are members of the ZSN Nation. Looking at focus areas for me tonight. Want to focus on Sacramento, Washington. I know the ownership's going to be high, but you can get some lower owned pieces. We talked about Fox and we talked about Westbrook, but maybe you go Halliburton and you go Denny Avdija. I can never do that right. Maybe you go Alex Len. I mean, there's ways you can get pieces of that game, but I definitely want Sacramento and Washington. We talked about the Hornets. Definitely want the Hornets as well. I love LaMelo Ball. Looks like they were resting him a little bit in that last matchup there with Sacramento. It sounds like they don't want to burn him out, which I don't know. I mean, he's like 19. When we were 19, when I was 19, you just hoop. Like, what are you resting this guy for? But anyway, So LaMelo, and the rest of the crew, we talked about Hayward and we talked about Graham. Love those guys. Even in PJ Washington is okay for me as well with Charlotte. And then we talk about Chicago. We talked about those Bulls, Levine and Markkanen and Carter. I see question coming in there about Sadorensky. Yeah, I love him too. Cheap price. People don't play him. You play him. You be the smart one. You play Sadorensky. I love those guys. And running it back with a few Spurs pieces. So, at St. Patrick's Day, what about Patty Mills? I don't know. Go about Patty Mills. And Keldon Johnson, also another good piece there from San Antonio. Jakob Poeltl, I'm not on because I think there's other center plays that we don't need to go with Poeltl as well. So, and then pivot to late, as we talk about it every Wednesday. And again, for those new, I like to, when you're building these DFS slates, I like to do it in a way that allows me some flexibility. So don't load up on 7 o'clock. It's real cool to see your money be up really high at about 8 o'clock because you played all the 7 o'clock players. But just know people are coming behind you in those late slate games. So I like when I can to try to just backload and find, especially if the guys are close, like if they're positionally, they're close either in salary or your projection, just play the later guy. Gives you some flexibility and you can change your roster if need be on the sites that offer the late swap. So pivot to the late slate if all possible. That's kind of where I'm thinking about. All right. We have reached the time, the well-awaited. Most people just tune in for this part. It's Zilla's Hoops Crew for St. Patrick's Day 2021. We're going to go with Rashawn Holmes in the Hoops Crew, Zach LaVine, De'Aaron Fox, Karis LeVert, and James Harden. And people will be like, that's a chalky crew. Hey, man, you don't have to play the crew. You can do what you want. I'm just saying a lot of my lineups have people in that that range for me. You don't have to play all the crew, and you might not be able to fit all the crew, especially with a guy like Harden for that price. But I want to have at least 2 or 3 of those people in my crew if I want to be successful in cash tonight. So that's Zilla's Hoops Crew: Rashawn Holmes, Zach LaVine, De'Aaron Fox, Karis LeVert, and James Harden. All right, so we ran through that fast. It's a beautiful day where I'm at. Beautiful day. Want to ask, the people out there if you've got any questions associated as I try to adjust the lighting in here so people can kind of see. Here we go. All right, it's a little better. Okay. Any questions concerning the night slate? Have at it, people. I see some of my usuals in there. Love it. I really can't get this light going. This is crazy. Now, you got to get Wendell Carter Jr. Help me. I mean, come on, Ja. You got to get that. You got to get that going. Wendell Carter Jr., you got to play him. I'm telling you. It's going to be good for you. You'll be good. I apologize for you guys. This is the beauty of live thing. I got the sun in my eyes. I don't want to mess with it. I'll mess with it after the show. Yeah, go Shockers and go Spartans. That's right, Kenny. It's March, baby. Let's get those 2 guys. Let's see if they can advance. They're both in the play-in action. Let's see if Wichita State and MSU can do some work. And again, for those people that are members, we are going to talk about. We did the show, like I said, last night, which you can get here on YouTube. But we will be grinding out some DFS for college basketball without question. Huge slate. I was looking at it, I was like, man, I'm going to have to break down that college basketball slate. Woo! That's a lot. That's a lot. But we'll get it done for the folks that are in there. We want to provide that value for people that are involved in the ZSN crew. Let's see here. Jokic and Holmes in the lineup. Yeah, if you can fit them both in, I like that. I like how that's looking. I like how that bill's going. All right. What do you think about DeJounte Murray tonight? For me, Murray, again, short memory, because, Murray's a guy that kind of roller coasters and yo-yos in terms of where he's at production-wise. And so for me, DeJounte Murray, I feel like point guard, there's so many different directions to go. He's a fine play in a vacuum, but with so many people on a 10-game slate, I'm going to go other directions than Murray. I mean, if he beats me, he beats me. But, look at the 4 I just named, say like on DraftKings: Harden, Westbrook, Curry, Fox. Then you got DeLon Wright. We got LaMelo Ball. I mean, you got Kyle Lowry. I mean, you got so many point guard options. Murray for me, even though I do like Chicago San Antonio game. I don't think you got to go there if you don't need to. Oh yeah, late slate. I could have probably done that. We'll see how things go. We're getting later in the year, so people talking about some lineup builds. Yeah. So Super Draft has only 6 games. Oh yeah, Super Draft. I was playing over there a little bit. Old habits die hard, so I'm still kind of in the DK. I just got to get more familiar with Super Draft. It seems like a fun concept. I kind of like that. It's a little different than the salary cap format, with the multipliers. So for those involved, I'm not a Super Draft. I'm not promoting Super Draft. They have not given me any cash. It's just, it's an interesting way to look at playing fantasy basketball, fantasy sports for that matter. And so maybe for baseball, I might get more into the Super Draft. So if your player pool is diminished by some of these early games, DeJounte Murray might be a good way to go there, Ja. Okay, any other questions on this? We got plenty of time, so questions. The only reason I'm not doing a quick lineup build is because I can't share my screen, but I don't have a problem, going through that. If the people want it, I will do that. I can't share my screen in this format. I will get that rectified so I have a format where I can share my screen, so then you can kind of see my thought process on building some of these late lineups. But I will take that under advisement, Kenny. I will take that under advisement to try to do that. Any other questions for the good of the order? Any game you want a complete fade of? Well, let us see on the slate. Where would I like to fade? Okay, that's a very good question. Very good question. Well, it's surely not Brooklyn, Indiana. We talked about my man, Sabonis, and with Harden, and with no Kyrie today. I mean, that's a very interesting and appealing slate. Let me look here. A game I'd like to fade. You know what? Miami-Memphis for me is, I think, maybe fadeable, even though it's a little bit later. Miami-Memphis is probably a fadeable game. I like pieces of almost all these other games, though. Let's just stay with that. Miami-Memphis. Butler was questionable last time I looked. Miami-Memphis is just not something I want to do. Oh, there's probably, I don't know. I'm looking. I don't know. Oh no, Ja. I mean, maybe there's ghost in my my office. No, I don't know. It's probably could be one of my kids jumping in here. Very well could be. See, that's funny. See, I thought my daughter actually came in, so that's very funny. She will photobomb this, and she's been angling for YouTube stardom herself. It's quite funny. So, all right. Oh, that's better. Look at that. Got that done. Very good. Okay. So we got the complete fade. Anybody else with any questions? My man Double L's in there. Shout out to Double L who does his DVP tool for the members. Love having Double L in. If you look at some of the channel stuff we've done here, he and I did a very cool tutorial on the DVP tool for those members that are involved in ZSN. So shout out to Double L. I see him in there. Always want to show love there. My top value guy on the night, man. Houston's changed up with with Christian Wood coming back. So the easy answer would have been any of those Houston guys like KJ Martin or Jayshawn Tate or something like that. I mean, the value guy that's going to be high owned on FanDuel, let me tell you that right now, is Karis LeVert without question, at that price point at 4,400. The guy who may be a little lesser owned, and we talk about the Bulls guys, is Patrick Williams. Patrick Williams, I really like playing him, the young guy. I think out of FSU. Patrick Williams, to me, is a guy that you could definitely go with confidently and roster, on the night. So those are my two guys on FanDuel. Let me toggle over to DK real quick, get you some DK love. I know we have limited time, so let me do that. Let me make one more click and see A guy like Sterling Brown jumps out to me on DK as a value play. Obviously, Satoransky, super high owned, unfortunately, but that price point is delicious at 3,800 on DK. So Satoransky, don't even mind Satoransky over on. We talked about it just a little bit ago. Don't mind him on FanDuel as well. So like a Sterling Brown to get you some of that Houston value because they're still not fully full strength. So Sterling Brown, I like. Even crazy, get crazy with Jordan Poole, from Golden State. Could see him. He's a stone cold minimum on DK. There's a couple ways to go, I think, for value picks. For favorite tourney you like to play in on FanDuel? Well, a lot of times, because I'm not putting thousands of dollars. I mean, that's crazy. Like, I mean, more power to people want to do that, but a lot of the times I'm just doing this, for fun and for entertainment and provide you guys with content. So the big low dollar tournament, if I will, the 333 that has $3.33, not $333, but $3.33. That one is a fun tournament just because it's kind of like your lottery ticket. Go and play that. So I'll put a couple in there. Looking for the highest, under $10 single entry tournament on FanDuel. Like to jump into those. And Kenny, for you, and this is a little freebie for some of the people that aren't members. Finding those 100-man tournaments that are usually $1 or $2 to enter. 100-man tournaments, just hammer those. The single entry tournaments, hammer those, and build your bankroll up so you can play in those big tournaments. But definitely single entry stuff. If you want to take a flyer, I mean, the 333s are like. And then again, the thing I like to do is some of those the turbo action. For me, it just when I shrink that player pool, I get some more clarity around things. So I usually like to play in the $4.44 in the late slate. And again, any of those matchups that I can find or tournaments I can find that are single entry or 100-man tourneys like that. That's kind of my thought process going into FanDuel. A lot of those tourneys like that is finding that. Try to build a bankroll that way. But you got to take your shot. I mean, it's fun. That's part of the reason playing DFS. You got to take a shot on some of that stuff. So don't mind going. But again, play within your limits and play within reason. And please don't do something crazy like we got my guy Distro always talking about the 401k lock. Do not do that. Don't take money from your 401k to do this. This is supposed to be entertainment. Maybe make a little side stuff here and there, but it's supposed to be entertainment. So don't do something crazy like that. But definitely and try to actually rotate the games that you're playing as well, right? So I've mentioned those tournaments of $3.33, the $4.44, single entry, stuff like that. But rotate what you're playing and you go to a site like SuperDraft, go to a site like Yahoo and change it up a little bit because sometimes we get stagnant and that's no good either. You want to change up some things and change up some activity from time to time. You don't want to play the same tournaments every night. That you're leaving stuff on the table by doing that. Okay. Jock market. Yeah, I'm gonna get into it, man. There's just minimal hours in the day, brother. Minimal hours in the day. Jock market sounds fun. I know you've talked about it with some of our members, so I'll have to definitely dive into that a little bit. Any other questions for you guys out there in YouTube land? I much appreciate it. We're like 30 seconds away from lock, so hopefully you guys already built your lineups and you're just kind of hanging with me here on St. Patty's Day. For you guys that are going out, be safe, man. Don't do something crazy. We want to see you next week here on Wednesday, so don't do something crazy. We appreciate you tuning in. Love having you guys as a part of the ZSN family. More stuff coming as we go through 2021. We're trying to figure out what the baseball product looks like and what we can do around baseball. Obviously, we're going to grind out this tournament. We're going to get some takedowns in this tournament. Guarantee we're going to get takedowns. People are going to be like, what is the Zilla Sports Network? What are these guys doing? We're going to get a takedown in one of these tournaments. Guaranteed that. We just been working too hard throughout the season, analyzing stuff. We're gonna do that. You follow kind of the stuff we do in college basketball. We're gonna with all these big tournaments here, with the big tournament here, and all the stuff going on in DK and FanDuel, we're gonna get one for there. Best believe that. So yeah, for all of you out there, I appreciate that. Appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate the support and the love shown for the folks here at ZSN, trying to provide you content on a daily basis. If you have any questions, you can at me at Spartanzilla or at Zilla Sports Net on Twitter, www.zillasportsnetwork.com. And then that's the way to become a member, to get in the Discord, which is a lot of fun, a lot of cool guys. Most of them are up in here in the chat, so a lot of cool guys. So love to see you there. Quick question on Kevin Porter. Yeah, I love him tonight. Houston's a little depleted. We talked about it a little bit at the beginning of the show. Kevin Porter, yeah, I mean, he's chalk, but chalk for a reason. So love Kevin Porter. It's funny that he had to leave Cleveland, just because he just wasn't grown up, right? He just didn't grow up. He didn't know what it meant to be a professional. And sometimes it's a good lesson for life, right? Sometimes you need to change the scenery to grow up and to understand things can be taken away from you. So maybe it's a lesson for folks to take with them, is like, sometimes we just need some space from things, and we have to understand how fortunate we have it and how blessed we are, and to just kind of take each day as it comes. I think Kevin Porter is a telltale example of he's in the right spot. They're going to work with him in Houston. He's going to be a stud. If you're doing top shots, you might want to try and get you some Kevin Porter top shots. We talk about that, for the folks in Discord. So, all right. If there's no further questions, I'm going to peace out. I appreciate you guys tuning in. We will see you soon on Zilla Sports Network with all the content here on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, you name it, we're out there. So peace.